It's my great pleasure to introduce Tako Ozaki, our Managing Director of Suzuki Australia. And Tak will say a few words in a moment, but he's gone to some considerable effort to welcome all of you along to our Suzuki 2010 rmx-450z new model presentation and product launch.
Has been one of the most successful competition races in recent history, adding many supercross, motocross and off-road championships to the Suzuki Trophy cabinet. The new rmx-450z is the latest embodiment of everything we have learned from that program and designed to offer the finest enduro machine to the market.
Here we are at the 2010 RMX 450Z launch. We've waited for this for a long time. Poor old Suzuki's copped a lot of crap. We've been wondering when they're going to turn their 450 four-stroke motocross machine into an enduro bike. Here it is. We're stoked about it. So I've got Adam Riemann here with me. We're at the official launch and we're going to put it through its paces now. I can't wait. Let's go.
We were all excited, you know. We knew it was going to be electric start, which is what the market needs and this class needs. We knew that it was going to be fuel injected, so the RMZ is such a good package that we knew they could really base a good model off it. Yeah, racing or someone who doesn't need rego to go and ride. Like, you know, there's a lot of people who don't need to travel on a road to get to where they want to ride or need that. So, you know, in that market, it's, you know, I think it's the leader of that class. Headlight car, like electric start, the little trip meter on it, the speedo. So the gearbox, you know, it's a wider ratio box than the RMZ, so it's perfect for what it is, you know.
Yeah.
This is the US model.
Yeah, it's the US spec.
It's a US spec bike, yeah. They come restricted, which is a muffler plug. Like a baffle in there, so you remove that. There's a throttle stop which is removed. In the airbox you remove like a rubber snorkel thing out of there, and it's de-restricted, and then you just use a power up unit to, you know, program it to say all that's done and give it more power.
Just listening to some of the other guys, they think it's quite abrupt and aggressive for an enduro bike, but you know, that is it. They've made it as a competition bike, not a complete trail package.
If someone's expecting a WR or a CRF, they're not going to get it in this bike.
It doesn't have rip your arms out the horsepower like an aggressive motocrosser. That's kind of there, but they've just smoothed it out.
Yeah.
But in terms of serious enduro riding, like the response to launch up over logs, rock ledges, or just react coming out of ruts, it's punchy, yeah,
Instant
really
punch,
good,
which is good. I think for a more average guy, such as perhaps myself, you could get yourself into trouble with that, but I think you're more likely to get yourself out of trouble when you don't see something. We can just give it a snap and the thing will just and hook up. I found the traction pretty good, considering, you know, we had a mixture here today. It was quite wet and slippery under the trees, quite dry and rocky and dusty out of the trees.
Yeah.
So a bit of everything, and not magnificent traction, but good traction.
On the flat stuff, the off-camber stuff, and you know, in racing off-road, the grass track tests, it would be a good grass track bike. Initially, I felt it floated around like a boat too much. I was so impressed, having ridden the RMZ on the shootout, the motocross bike.
And this bike is based on the 2010 motocross.
Exactly that, and that's what I was expecting. I was expecting that same brilliance, that mojo, and then realistically I had to do a lot more work than expected. Just playing with the clickers and getting it to handle me in these conditions.
For me, I went back to standard on everything and into the bush, and I felt a lot better on it.
Yeah.
And when I rode it with your settings, it was just too hard for me, and it was deflecting. Not deflecting, but it was just too hard. When I softened it, I found it a lot better, but still has that competition edge.
Yeah.
It's not a bike you'd ride to relax on.
No.
But when I started getting up it actually started feeling a lot better, and I started to really enjoy it.
Generally, the Japanese have a bad habit of taking their cutting-edge motocross bike and just turning it into a fat farm bike, but they haven't done that with the Suzuki. Like,
it's edgy,
it's
isn't
just,
it?
It is. It's light. It's thin. You think it's just an RMZ with a headlight.
Let's just wrap it up.
Yeah,
that's enough, I reckon. Probably we don't even give them that much. So it's definitely an edgy bike. I think compared to the Japanese competition, it's more competition oriented, and that's exactly what Suzuki told us in the press release. You'll have to read more about it in ADB, but it's definitely an edgy, sharp, fast bike in the bush.
It's a lot closer to an enduro spec bike in terms of having the headlight, lighting coil and all that business, so there's half the job done, especially if you're racing the 4D, and you can get the B-Class competition licence for the event, and yeah.
No grip.